we are actually, I think, uniquely situated in the District of Columbia to do deep engagement with ATV riders because we have already done deep engagement in other areas over the years, right? So the way that we tackle ATVs in my mind is multifold. First, they're already illegal, right? So MPD is already seizing, impounding, making arrests and citations when appropriate. But that's certainly not going to solve our problem here, right? Because what we've got is a dirt bike culture. It's got cachet. It's things that people follow online, right? It's not just something that we're going to arrest our way out of. And frankly, I don't think that's the best path forward anyway. So what I'm doing is working with the Office of Gun Violence and the Attorney General's office to start doing engagement of folks who are in the bike community to see what they would like to see, right? So, this could be, a certain night or day, or a weekend where ATVs are allowed in certain areas. It could result in a set aside space for them. But we certainly don't want to make plans without consulting the people that we're trying to serve and the behavior that we're trying to address, right? So we have in the past very successfully deployed, for example, our DPR roving leaders to disengaged youth. We have a credible messenger program that reach out to older folks in the community that are disengaged and don't have positive outlets. And these programs have been really successful. And so doing something similar with ATV riders, I think, is our path through this. DPR has done those all-night basketball tournaments. If we start thinking about things like that, providing a positive way to engage with the bikers, a positive way for them to be present in the community that doesn't wreak havoc, that doesn't create danger, that doesn't make it difficult for people to sleep every night on the weekend, then I think we can make some real progress. Mm-hmm. I saw the mayor mention in a press conference this week that she's also potentially interested in some more creative solutions. I think this is a really good opportunity to work together. The status quo isn't going to work. My constituents have told me that over and over again, and I agree with them. And that's why I've been working through sort of a multi-pronged approach here.
Tell me this, from where you stand, how complex of an issue is this? Because, there's obviously noise complaints, and then some people are concerned about safety. And then on the flip side, I just talked to Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner Anthony Green in Deanwood. There's the argument that this has been something that's been, and he'd like to actually work with you too, he says. But he says this is a cultural aspect of DC. How complex is this topic here?
That's right. Commissioner is correct. It is a complex issue because it's tied to bike culture, right? There are folks who are coming out because they enjoy riding and they enjoy the spectacle and they enjoy the audience, right? It's not confusing why they're coming to U Street, for example, right? There's a built-in audience on U Street, and there are a lot of people who come to U Street that enjoy it. The challenge is that U Street, as with all neighborhoods in Ward 1, has residents living very closely around it. So ATVs have been around a long time, right? They have not been legal for a long time. But this is really about how do we change behavior so that the bike culture itself is not negatively impacting the neighborhoods, but can still exist in a safe way.
Something that you were also proposing, and you actually already did introduce this, was the bill regarding soundproofing as another way to deal with that. Can you explain that?
Well, my bill about soundproofing actually is about mostly about street performance and nightlife venues that offer music. And most people don't realize that we don't actually have soundproofing standards in our building code, which seems pretty crazy when you think about it, because a lot of our city is commercial and residential corridors that are essentially coexisting right next to each other, right? So we need to update that. And in drafting this bill, I worked with sound engineers and others who understand what should be done. If we can have a music venue on the wharf with people living in the same building, then I know it is possible to build better buildings so that people who move into them are not disturbed by performances that are really important to our culture and history as well throughout the neighborhoods.
All right. One more quick question here for you. You were talking about having the conversations with those who are part of bike culture. And you've already been researching and having some, but when would you like to see action, regardless of whatever result it is, come from those conversations? Like within a year or within 2 years?
Yeah, so like most community engagement, it's about building relationships, ensuring that we have the right messengers. I don't pretend to be the right messenger to the bike life culture, but we have people in government and in our neighborhood-based organizations who are. So working together with them, I do think that we can have an impact in the short and the long term. You know, if we can ensure those conversations are happening between the right people, then we could see some changes pretty quickly. I think it would be great to have everybody in government working together on this. I would love to work with the mayor. I'm glad that the commissioner is interested as well. You know, I think that all working together and moving in the same direction is key here.
Cool. Can't really think of anything else. So that basically covers it for me. Anything that you think I should know?
Do you want to ask about New York?
I mean, yeah, I think I kind of understand, but tell me your feelings on New York there.
Well, I watched the video of the crushing of the ATVs.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it looked like theater, right? I think, you know, seizing a bunch of ATVs and then running them over is not going to solve the problem. And I know that we can be sophisticated here in the District of Columbia and solve the problem by working together with the people impacted on both sides. And that's what we're good at. So I'm hoping we can do that. And we can use our time to have meaningful impact rather than just that sort of theater.
It's interesting. I don't know if you saw Channel 5's piece last night, but they showed the New York video to people just on the street. One person said something like, "That's hurtful," or "That hurts my heart," or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's more of a divisive tactic? I mean, I imagine it's something you don't want to see here.
I don't want to see that here. I mean, I think it's violent, it's unnecessary, and it's not productive.